to the coronavirus, and concerns around the world have really hit a fevered pitch. Even at OPEC, where officials in Austria have a new way of greeting each other. A sign inside the lobby of the oil cartel's headquarters says in part to avoid handshakes and hugs. And so OPEC Secretary General and Russia's energy minister tapped feet to greet one another instead as a precaution. Meanwhile, nations around the world are stepping up their efforts to stop the spread of the virus. At least 80 countries have reported cases. At least 95,000 people have been infected globally, with at least 3,200 deaths. CBS News foreign correspondent Charlie D'Agata is in Italy. Charlie, Italy is one of the hot spots, particularly northern Italy. What are they doing there?
Well, they've closed down all the schools, and it's not just the schools. Movie theaters are now shut. Sporting events are being held behind closed doors. Tourist sites remain open, like here at the Coliseum, but the numbers are way down. Now, as this crisis deepens, is this a hint of what's in store for the United States?
That nationwide shutdown is Italy's most dramatic step yet to stop dead the spread of a virus that shows no sign of slowing down. New numbers here overnight have skyrocketed, more than 3,000 cases now, 107 dead. Expanding regions in lockdown, all major soccer matches held in empty stadiums.
You don't normally supply this.
Forget hand sanitizers and masks. At a Rome pharmacy, we even found goggles and hazmat suits for sale.
People are scared. People are worried.
Yeah, there is a situation of the people are going crazy because the situation is not explained so much.
To Iran, where in just over 2 weeks, cases have soared to more than 3,500, though there are fears the outbreak is far greater. But Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has instead accused other countries of hiding figures. In South Korea, the outbreak has forced a shortage of hospital beds in the epicenter Daegu, more than 5,700 cases, making it the second highest in the world, behind China, where the outbreak began. More than 80,000 cases, 3,000 dead, though the only country where the spread of the illness has slowed down.
So, Charlie, when I heard that they were closing schools, I think I heard for 10 days in Italy. The first thing I thought of were parents, and what are they going to do with their children? Are children going to be all sort of gathered at, an aunt's house, and then you have 10 kids in a house? I mean, what are the implications of closing schools and universities?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, that's a good thought, and ministers here are talking about that. What is that going to do to the economy? I mean, the kids are obviously thrilled to have a couple weeks off, but it's going to have an impact on parents who've got to stay home to look after those children. Especially, it's going to hit the healthcare system, which is already struggling in certain regions. Those healthcare workers will have to look after those children as well. So it's absolutely going to have an impact on the economy. And this economy has already been suffering. I mean, you can see behind me, Coliseum. And in a normal environment, that place would be packed, but they're taking a huge hit. I can tell you myself, I was the only person having breakfast at the hotel where I'm staying, and tourism accounts for like 13% of the economy, so it's already taken a whack. And what's really important here is I've been here for just over a week. I've seen the changes, and this is why I say, is this what the United States is going to look like? Because, a week ago, we felt like you may be feeling in the States. Possibly it's overblown, it's not going to get that big. Well, now the schools are closed, movie cinemas are closed, sporting events are shut down, tourism sites have just essentially evaporated, disappeared. Italians are finding it difficult to travel to other countries. This is the reality here.
And you talked a little bit about Iran in your piece, and I know Iran had initially sort of been accused of not being transparent about their numbers, and now we're learning that 54,000 prisoners may have been temporarily released in order to avoid spreading the coronavirus?
I mean, how crazy is that? You're releasing prisoners into the community. Now, the Iranian officials say, we have to make this clear, all those prisoners have been tested, but the reason, and they've tested negatively, obviously, the reason they're letting them out is for the same reason that they're closing schools, the same reason that they're not having, opening cinemas. By the way, Iran is closing schools too for the next couple of weeks. Because any of these areas where you've got a lot of people packed into one certain area, that is where the virus is spread. So it's a prudent measure. I guess in a place like Iran, those guys aren't going anywhere, if you know what I mean. So they've been temporarily released because the threat of them catching that virus and then spreading that virus is greater than the risk of letting them out.
Unbelievable. Well, it's pretty obvious that many governments around the world are sort of making it up as they go along because we really know so little about how this virus actually works. So, you create a plan and hope that it works out. Charlie, thank you so much.
Well,
oh, sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
I'm happy. Thank you. Bye-bye. No, that's all right. Well, I was going to make that point because here in Italy, right, when you're walking around, there has been a death reported south of Rome. You're walking around, you're like, well, am I touching the door? I don't want to touch a door handle. I don't want to touch a button on an elevator. So people are worried about the community transmission. That's what's happening in the United States. When you're saying people have traveled from high-risk areas, okay, that's one thing. But here, it's already taken hold. So you can't say, well, I didn't go to places like Milan or Veneto. I'm here in Rome. But you start wondering, well, are there a lot of people here that may be carrying the virus that haven't been detected?
Yeah, it's so true. Thank you so much, Charlie.